Okay, so we're moving on to classroom management, but what I'm going to try to gear us moving towards is like a holistic approach to classroom management. It is not just who's sitting in the right seat. Are they here on time? Are they following instructions? Like we think of management. I love the question when they ask, like, have you ever managed anyone? And I'm like, what do you mean by manage? They're like, well, did you make sure they showed up to work? Did you make sure they did their work? Did you help them grow in their work? I'm like, oh, yeah, 150 a year. Because you're doing that with students. They may not be employers, but you're employed because of them. And you had to do all those sorts of things. And there's ways in which you can have great management when there's a relationship with that person, when you really are authentically helping them grow. You know where they're at. You're getting them to where they want to be, or you're challenging them in ways they never even thought of. So I think of things like as a whole. It's not just the rules for my classroom are up here, obey them or leave, right? It's like, what are all the things that I do to create an environment that you will actually want to be in and you want to listen and participate? So with that in mind, because it's such a short time to discuss management, and I can't, like I said, you're not going to be an expert when you walk out this room. You're not going to be an expert in 10 years. We're constantly learning how to manage, and our students are always different, just like our employers, our colleagues, and so forth. So I'm going to give you 6 different topics that you get to choose from. So there'll be 6 things that you can explore. And I'm going to hold off because I know you're all going to start trying to pick and all that. So you will receive, once you're in a group, so you will decide on groups, and I'll just kind of number you off. Or you'll choose what group you want to be in, but I'll say, okay, group topic this to over here, topic so forth. I'll try to spatially organize you. You're going to get these cards that have the topic on the bottom, a little description as to what is this topic about, and then some questions I want you to discuss amongst your groups. I know I said like you won't be an expert, but we have expertise in a lot of the things that we do, so you are all going to come together to share that. People were mentioning that they want to build connections. They want to know who's doing dual enrollment in this space, in this area. So this is also a chance for you to get to know each other as you discuss the things that help support a classroom environment. Environment is key. If you looked at your handout on, what was it, working with adolescents, one of the big pieces is environment. If you create the environment, they will respond. So the 6 topics you'll have, one is the syllabus. You're going to talk a little bit about that. I'll give you a quick little preview of each. So the syllabus, a tool that every class has in the colleges, we give to the high schools, to our students in dual enrollment. What is our purpose with it? What do we want to communicate? If I was so sad about mine, it was like 12 pages. Like it had to, like the things they wanted me to include, like to get it approved, was like 12 pages, and I would never do that to my high school student, but I had to, right? So what did I do? I also created another one that was high school based, which is 1 page. So like, think of the things ways in which we can kind of do what we have to do right now, because we can't fight every structure at once. But how can we supplement it? What are some ways in which you might have done it? And you can share that. Grades and grading. Like just the other day, my brother in college said that he's in a community college, and he said, I have to get a 78 for a C-. I was like, oh, what? Like, oh my gosh, I never would have. And he's like, yeah, I just found out. I was like, where was your syllabus? Like, I'm like searching for something, and he's like, whatever. But like, I mean, he's like, yeah, who knows if I'll pass. But what I mean to say is that we expect the students to know our grading system. Some of you were like, what? Like I heard you, like when I said 78, you're like, oh. But the thing is, I've seen even high school teachers with very different grading systems in the same high school. So making sure that we are clear about how the grade is calculated, what our scale is, things of that sort. Grading is a process that schools will discuss over and over again. We've had years-long PDs as a high school about how are we going to do meaningful grading, how are we going to give feedback, timely feedback, useful. So I mean, some people are like looking at this going, don't open that up. Like grading is a whole beast of its own. But if you want to discuss that, that's another table. How to contact you. If you don't physically live on that campus, like high school teachers might, I know I lived on campus. I'd hide from them so I can get some alone time. How do they get in touch with you? What do you think is best? Is it through your online tools, your Canvas or whatnot? Is it through email? but making sure it's very clear how they can find you, and also allowing for that physical time to be where they're at to allow them to meet with you. Some people are more comfortable talking in person with their instructors than they are through email. Sometimes it's vice versa, things of that sort. Maintaining rigor. This is a big misconception when we talk about dual enrollment classes. They think, oh, so this is just high school. It's like, no, it's college. It's totally college. But so if you want to just discuss ways in which you can just maintain that rigor, so this misconception can go away, that will be on this session. Staying focused, keep them on task, not assume that they're off task because they want to be. Maybe there's something missing. Like that was mentioned earlier, I didn't give the right instructions or they were overwhelming, so you didn't want to do anything, right? That was some instructional piece that I could have improved on so that I would have that focus. And then lastly, college resources and tools. The high school students may be very familiar with Google Drive, right? That's pretty much all they know. They don't even know email sometimes. Like my students would be, what do you mean attachment? And I'm like, that paperclip. They're like, what? Like it was such an absurd thing for them. They would just share. I really hate when they would just share it because it's like hundreds of students sharing something and it's like hard for me to find it or whatever it may be. It may not show up in my email. So resources and tools, what are the tools you expect them to know coming into your classroom? And what tools do they already know that you could tap into? So knowing what the high school structures look like can support. Oh yeah, and that's it. So what you're going to do, I think we have about 25 people. So about, I think I'm doing my math wrong, but about 4 or so people per group, 4 or 5. You're going to pick which group. We're going to do syllabus up here, grades in the middle, instructor contact in the back. And then over there in the back, we're going to do maintaining rigor, staying focused in the middle, college resources up front. You're going to meet in your group. And you are going to read the card. There's 2 cards per group. And then go through the questions and just have a free-flowing conversation about these things. What I would like for you to do, because I'm merging both these pieces together, is you're going to get a piece of poster paper. I'll come around and give that to you. I want you to try to capture some of the big things that you're saying and sharing onto that poster paper. Because I'd love for your colleagues who want to do all of them, but can only physically be in one space, to, throughout their break, check it out. Any questions on the instructions? So let's make sure I've made this clear. You are going to decide on a topic. That's one. Then you're going to go to the space in the classroom that's discussing that. And then you're going to talk about the ideas to consider on the cards. The last thing is you're going to create a poster together. Okay, so there's 4 things.
The cards in the space.
I'm going to come do that right now. Thank you. So yes, as Mallory was saying, I'm going to put the cards on the table, so if you forget what I said, that's okay. It'll be on the tables, and you can look for that. Yes?
The list of things we wrote down, is that part of this, or is this separate?
The list of
things we were going to
reflection.
Oh, your reflection.
That's personal?
That's personal. I want that for you, so you can look on, think of it next week. My last consideration for you all before I let you off into your breaks, and I'll give you time warnings throughout. There's coffee, drinks. Make sure that you are feeding your bodies so that your minds can be alive. So anyhow, all right, with that, find your groups. We will be pulling together information about each of these and posting it on the website. So later when we have the resources online, you'll find this as well. If you did do it, feel free to post it up on our wall of work up here.
Can we turn it in on Monday?
No late work. I'm just kidding.
How many points?
How many points? Is this worth our grade? Or are you just trying to buy time? So take your break, and I'll see you guys in the sessions.